In this edition of SmartBites, Zulfikar Deen outlines what it takes to successfully implement large IT solutions. He is currently the Group CIO of Columbia Asia Group of Hospitals. Welcome, Zulfikar. Today's IT development is about powering the business to grow revenue and lower costs, more than just technology and development. Does this require a different mindset from a software engineering team?
Definitely, yes. Definitely. I would actually connect to your first question of solution is this piece, and there is a big piece outside of it. You need to have the connectivity. Let's start with one is the very first is you need to, as a partner, a solution provider, need to have a partnership mind with the IT team of the organization. You need to understand the difficulties, what I articulated. It's a small meeting, but if you spend time with me a couple of days and you understand the process and difficulties, you start empathizing with this team. So you plan the solution right from technology to rolling out to support everything along with our thought process. Not only us, many such organizations. So take a partnership approach, number one. Number two is the solution need to be cognizant of the whole life cycle of system, whether it is a patching, upgrade, support, training. Everything has to take that into consideration for that solution to be successfully used by the user. The whole chasm need to be crossed. So you need to be aware of that. So as much as you try to, as a solution provider, keep building these layers or part of the system and have the view of the whole thing into the solution, the easier for us to roll out. Third one, which I already said, is do not ever attempt to do half-baked solution, try to roll into production. It's going to be very, very challenging. And once the user, we are talking about, let's say in my case, 12,000 users. I cannot control the perception of the user, right? So once the user gets a perception the system is not good, it's very difficult to recover from there. So even if you are delivering minimum viable product of 3 features, do it thoroughly well and make sure it integrated well, works well before we put into the system. Have that view. Never have the view of that, okay, I will give this system, let me get a feedback from the users, then figure out what to do with that. I'm taking a very different contra view of the DevOps process in this case, okay? And as I said, always bake in adoption metrics. Normally people don't do that. If a system is rolled out, management, CIO, even you as a solution provider should be able to look at adoption metrics, whether in terms of business metrics, actual adoption, usage, everything has to be already baked to that. So I'm trying to give a view beyond your technology, your database, your architecture, your cloud architecture, your ML architecture. That is the actually core solution, right? Solving a problem. But all the other things which I'm talking need to be part of your thought process and view when you are building a solution. Last one, very important, is which I want to be out in the open to make sure that is when we are actually working with a solution provider who are not large, who are smaller, there is always a thought about risk of the startup going belly up. Then what happens? How do I protect my business? It's always in our mind, and don't ever underestimate that thought process and risk in our mind. The best way forward that is, as much as possible, build on open standards, open platform. So what happens is, okay, I use this particular open standard. So what happens? It gives a sense of comfort. Oh, okay, even if something goes wrong, I will be able to find skills to manage this beyond. Otherwise, it's going to be. Already we are challenged with team which is not able to skill up with rapidly moving technology. I can't take one more solution which is built and figure out what happens with the system. So it's easier sell for a solution provider built on open standards and take it to the market. The open standard could be domain specific. For example, with the healthcare could be a fire standard or HL7, whichever is appropriate. It could be technology specific. It could be in domain technology or any one built on open standards. It makes it easier for us to make the right decision.
What's your advice to startups or new product developers who are building enterprise applications?
Yeah. Again, probably I would take a slightly different view of DevOps itself. I'll bring in a DevOps thought process in that is, you take a DevOps in a view that you are building a solution right from the start, engaging with the users like us or the end users, but from the perspective of operationalizing, not from a perspective of feature addition. Okay, when you are involving us as an end user, you'd say, okay, I'm building the solution, how do I operationalize, which we talked about in terms of training, in terms of support, in terms of metrics, in terms of security. All these are how that is getting baked into the early in your DevOps process. That is probably one area we may want to think about it. Second is in terms of I will reiterate that again, is view the IT organization of the end client as your partner, not as your customer. We are not your customer, we are your partner. We are taking your solution on behalf of you to the business users. So you need to support as much as possible as an IT organization. How do I make the job of IT organization easy to take the solution to the end user? That's a many startups miss that piece. When you're actually, you don't have that perspective. Okay, the moment you meet a CIO, you think they are the customer. No, they are not. Definitely not. They are your partner to take your solution. That's the second important view. Third important view, which I think will probably reiterate again, is whatever solution you're building, minimum viable product you're building, if you say it's working, 100%. There is, don't take off-baked product in trying to take it to the end user. It will be extremely difficult for you to recover the negative perception built about your solution with a large community of users.
What is the role of data security in application quality, especially in today's world where data is everything?
Absolutely. In healthcare, security is all the more important, because I'll give you a small analogy. If a credit card data is stolen, it has a financial impact, but that has a finite end date. The provider can disable a credit card information, that's about it. But health data is stolen, that doesn't have an end life. I know about this person and that's about it. You cannot end it. So healthcare data is a lot more sensitive, a lot more critical compared to any other industry. So whatever solution we are building, you need to make sure there is security is built into the system, right? When somebody is delivering system, somebody says, yeah, I've done the VAPT, vulnerability assessment or penetration testing in my system, great, I should know that. You need to bake in compliances into that. Okay, whether it's HIPAA compliance or anything, that needs to be baked into the system. And also security cannot be an afterthought. When you are doing a testing, you know all kind of testing you do, integration, quality, functional, but security has to be a first class citizen in testing the application, right? And and also we should be able to build a mechanism where if there is a security breach in the system, you should be able to detect the anomaly and also alert, so that I don't have to do an afterthought. Oh, I bought a system, let me plug in a security monitoring mechanism into the system. That should not be the case. You are delivering a system, it's already there. Okay, I got security hooks. If there is an anomaly detected, if there is intrusion, there is a data, there is an audit issue, it should alert the right people. It should have a escalation mechanism which I can hook it to my central monitoring system. So, but security has to be the first and last into the entire tooling process in your application, I would say.
So, Zulfi, in this digital age, what do you believe is the role of human intellect in QA?
Well, human intellect is extremely important. Let me re-ask the question: how would a system decide on usability of the system? How would an automated system figure out how well the system is usable? Correct? It's not going to be. There is some amount of, let's say we are developing a system for a doctor, let's say. The doctor profile is very different than, let's say you are building a system who's in a finance back office. So as a system, as a tester, as a QA person, if you take just a usability aspect of it, how well, I am still not able to fathom how well an automated system will look at a doctor's perspective and bring in the right usability into the system, right? If it is a factory model, okay, which can be done through an RPA, yeah, maybe you can do a QA in the same way. But many of our systems where end users are directly working on it, it's going to be very challenging to do a completely automated. I just took an example of usability, but I'm saying even in the functionality, how a particular capability, for example, if a doctor, I'm just picking an example, a doctor is writing a progress notes or a notes about the patient, in what settings they are writing. If they are trying to write in an OP situation, or they are writing in an IP when they are visiting the patient, the rounds, or they are writing in an emergency situation, or they are trying to write it in an operation theatre situation. The context refers and how well the system has to behave, how it has to be useful and adapting to the user. You will not get it through an automation. Somebody has to have that. Probably you need to employ a doctor to actually do a QA for that particular QA. There is a built-in acquired intellect comes into the picture, where a doctor only can articulate that. There is no system can